Hey guys, just left the hot springs, feeling pretty good and amazed at the earth we live on and what it can do. I mean, that water was jetting out like Old Faithful, but on that side of the highway, it's all day and all night. The other side, it's just one of the ponds is sprays, kind of spurts, about 10 feet. Every few seconds it kind of spurts out, and the other one just like percolates, gurgles, and that's the one that they boil the eggs in. So anyway, shot a couple of vids, because that was like a rest stop in between Payao and Chiang Mai, almost halfway between Payao and Chiang Mai. Anyway, it's a perfect spot for a break, especially when I'm supposed to be face down, which I'm not right now. I'm a little distracted, but we pulled out of there, and maybe a minute later I look up and I can see about 500 meters ahead, black smoke. So I said to the driver, slow down. Slow down. Slow down. Because, off on a different tangent. When I was in the fire department, I was 16. I was a volunteer firefighter when I was 16. And, when you see black smoke on the horizon, you're going to get a call, right? If it was in my area. And our station was unmanned. We had 4 stations, and only one was manned 24/7. The rest were satellite stations, if you want to call it that had no personnel stationed there. We're volunteers. And, my lieutenant was about a mile away, neighbor about a mile away, and then the gentleman that said, hey man, you should join up, was literally my next door neighbor. Anyway, that's beside the point. The point is, I was in the fire department when I was 16 till about 18, 19, something like that. And then I joined the service, joined the Army. So I've seen a lot of what we just witnessed. So from about 500 meters ahead of us, I could see black smoke. And I said, slow down. And sure as shit. And I can see a gaggle of vehicles, right? Well, turns out it was a motorbike, nearly burnt to the ground. Okay, so being a CSI geek, I'd estimate 10 or 15 minutes the accident happened. There was at least three motorbikes on the shoulder directly across from the bike, and they were kind of in a gaggle, and they were all the same size as my Aerox. So they weren't big bikes, they were little bikes, which we see a lot cruising together, people, okay, men and women, riding together in groups. It's a lot of fun. And obviously that was in the oncoming lanes, almost burnt to the ground. And then about 200 meters up, was a white sheet over a body. Laying next to it was a helmet. So obvioussomebody lost their life. Now I could have pulled over and took pictures, and I've seen enough death in my days. But it's real. It's common here. But this individual, I started to say gentleman, but I don't know. Whoever this human was wearing a helmet, riding together with a group, so chances are they weren't being stupid. But I don't know what happened, but that bike was, like I said, nearly burned to the ground, and a couple 100 meters up the road was a body covered with a sheet and a helmet, and a whole bunch of other people. There was only a handful of cars stopped because it was literally blocking traffic, so it couldn't have happened that long ago. And we're still seeing emergency vehicles. I'm looking up, but I don't give a shit. Anyway, emergency vehicles, one after another, heading the other direction. Couple of ambulances, but the rest were like pickup trucks with canopies on them and all the lights. So I would imagine that's what they'll haul the remains in. But sad to see, I mean, dying is part of living. We all gotta die someday, Red. But fucking sucks to see it, man. Alright. You guys take care. Bye.